Welcome to Mac Moments. I am Melissa Chavez, founder and CEO. This podcast is a space for honest conversations about focus, leadership, and what it really looks like to build and grow a business in real time. Each episode is a moment to slow down, think clearly, and move forward with intention. Let us get started.
Hi, I'm Samantha Brinkley with Rocket City HR Consulting.
How long have you had your business?
15 years as of this past Monday.
Happy anniversary. I know you guys just had a ribbon cutting. I couldn't go, but I saw it was good turnout and everybody was matching, and I love color coordination, so that's always a good thing.
That's always fun.
So how long have you guys been in the new space?
We moved there in August.
August of 24, 25. Gosh,
25.
I still feel like today's 25.
It's only been a few months, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But before that, you guys were remote, and before that, you guys were in another office. Mm-hmm. Let's talk through how having a business for 15 years, you have a lot of ups and downs.
Oh, for sure.
So when you started, let's start from there. You started from home, or
I started from home, and it was just me.
Aw. How did you know it was time to start hiring people?
I got to the point that I had too many clients. And I had these little boxes with all my client things in them. And some of the clients I would go to 2 or 3 days a week. And I just got to where, okay, I can only do this so much. And then if I'm ever not there, then I'm not working. And it was just one of those things as a business, you go, okay, you can only do so much on your own, and then you're limited.
Yes.
But if you can hire other people, then they're able to do some of that. So
I think that's one of the hardest things, is just knowing, am I ready to hire somebody?
And for us, since we do that for a living, we help companies with hiring their folks. I recognized how much work was involved. You have to get your payroll set up, you have to get your posters, you have to do your e-verify, all the things. And so I waited till we were ready to hire two. I did hire one person as a 1099 for maybe 6 or 9 months, but it was very clear, you're working for them, you're working on something I have no expertise in, and you're going to bill them. We're going to bill them separately, but then she would invoice me. But then when we had enough business, then we brought another person on. And so then they both came on as my first 2 employees. And that was probably 2014.
Wow. I mean, it's so exciting. And to know the difference between 1099 and W-2s, good thing it's in your wheelhouse. A lot of people don't know that. Share for those people that might be listening why it would be beneficial maybe at a startup to do 1099 and how to know when it's important to transition.
I think the most important thing, and a lot of companies miss this, because a lot of companies, when they're smaller, a 1099 is easier because you don't have to do payroll. You don't have to have that obligation. But if you have somebody doing something that is a part of the service that your business does, technically they should be an employee. And we have people that'll say, oh, well, they're remote or they're part-time or they're whatever. But you can have a part-time employee. You can have a remote employee. You can have somebody that's just on call as needed and they only work, 10 hours a year and they're still employees. But really it's a matter of, do they do what you say your business is going to do?
Okay.
And if they're not, then you can sub it out. So we're a HR consulting firm. So if the toilet in our building needs to be fixed, that's nothing we do. So that work would be 1099 work. It's clear, it's discreet, it's something completely different than what we do. That's something you 1099. That's really easy, black and white. Yeah. Then there's all kinds of shades of gray in there. And so if you're a marketing company, at what point do you sub out graphic design, or what point do you do, websites? So it really comes down to, for the IRS and the state and the Department of Labor, really what does your business exist to do? What are you saying you're serving as your clients? What services are you providing? And then if it's in that wheelhouse, really they should be employees. And the benefit of having employees rather than 1099s is you can set the schedules. You can dictate how they do their work. You can have them wear a uniform or certain clothes. And, when they're 1099, it's pretty much, you just kind of have to carte blanche, let them do what they're going to do the way they're going to do it. And so you don't have as much control.
Control. I love that word. It's an illusion though, isn't it?
Yeah. And also employees do.
Well, in life, just, starting a business, you think, oh, I want to start a business because I want all this freedom. Surprise, it's not a lot of freedom. It's a lot of work.
That's where you give up your 40-hour work week for your 80-hour work week.
Absolutely.
But it's 80 hours on your time when it works for you. So.
Absolutely. And it's determining, okay, so you hired somebody, you grew a little bit, and then you guys got your first retail space. Was it more retail? I guess just office space?
Office space. Yeah.
And how long were you there?
So we moved to our first office space in 2014. So we were right behind Bailey Chiropractic. And it was one big, kind of like your room, like one big room. And then there was an office behind it, a little restroom and a little break area. And we quickly outgrew that. Anytime we'd have somebody coming in and doing interviews and they wanted to use their, my office because it was more private, then I would be sitting out in the main area. It just didn't work for us. So we were there for a year, and then we moved to West Dublin Office Center in Madison. And there we had a conference room and 4 separate offices and a little lobby area. And that was perfect for us. It was just the right size and it was great. But there were 20 very steep stairs to get up to it. And it was not ADA compliant, which you would think as an HR company would be a big deal. And it really wasn't. We would let people know if we were doing interviews or something that we did have these stairs. If we needed to meet somewhere else, we would offer that up. But it worked great for us for a very long time. And we even kept it during COVID. It was just such a great price. But then we got to the point where, for us, and now we're hybrid, but we're remote first. So we can work from our home. A lot of times if we're doing work with our clients, we're at their site. And then we come into the office for our team meetings to collaborate, if we're meeting for business development. If somebody needs to do interviews or an investigation or something, we have the space. So it is more of a bullpen style.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah, it's great though. And I like it. I mean, everybody's on the same team.
And so I probably go in 2 or 3 times a week. Alicia probably goes in 2 or 3 times a week. We don't really have set days or hours or times, but it's just flexible. And then we just communicate so well via Teams. If somebody has something and they need the whole space, we just put out the word, hey, it's blocked off for that particular day or time.
Yeah.
But so far it's worked out really well.
And it's amazing how technology has changed how we work remotely. So prior to COVID, I mean, you were still in the office, but
yeah, we weren't doing all the stuff we're doing now.
Yeah. It's just amazing. I love that flexibility companies have. I mean, we have people we work with across the country, across the globe, actually, in our industry. So it's amazing. I don't know how they did it in my promo world before internet. Like, did you fax an order into a vendor? I wonder. And how did I get the artwork to them? Anyway, I digress.
No, that makes sense.
So in a business, you have your ups and downs. Tell me about a time that you thought, okay, we probably need to just scale back because of the environment or whatever, and how you go about strategizing to rebuild or grow more momentum.
Yeah, sometimes it's less intentional than that, and sometimes it is intentional with the scaling back. For us, when we didn't realize it when we set out to do the remote thing, because we said, okay, remote is more convenient. When I started my practice, we had pretty much everybody lived in Madison, and I lived in Madison. Everybody was within 10 or 15 minutes of that office. And then we had somebody out in Rad, and then I moved to Huntsville. And so it got to where I'm commuting 20 minutes a day to come to an office that we really didn't have to be at.
Yeah.
And so that's why we decided to go ahead and go remote. And we were 100% remote, and then we just got together every quarter for luncheons and birthdays or a celebration. We weren't seeing each other enough, so we missed that. So we weren't really intending to kind of contract, but we did as a result of just being remote and being not as eye on the ball as we would if we were coming into contact with each other regularly. So I think that sort of happened, and then we basically decided, okay, we're ready to go back and put full effort into it. And for me personally, my mom passed in the fall of 2023. And so that was a big deal. And so my attention was not 100% in the business. I mean, Alicia was running things great and all that. But, once, she passed and I decided I was going to step back into the business full time again in August of 2024. We're like, okay, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
And we got the office and we have been doing marketing. And so we're doing all the things to say, hey, we're here.
Yeah. And we know what we're doing. Yeah.
And so again, there are ups and downs, and I could probably count on 1 or 2 hands. I'm not sure how many times I wanted to throw in the towel, but when you're a business owner and you're an entrepreneur, you have to have that perseverance and persistence. And my husband told me one day, he's like, you have one of the traits that a good entrepreneur needs. And I said, well, what is that? And he's like, you're persistent, like you're stubborn, you don't give up. And I think that having that perseverance, and once you go through a few of those times where you're like, oh my gosh, you lose a client or you lose an employee or big things happen, then the next time something like that happens, you have more confidence because you go, you know what? We've got through it before. We're going to get through it again. We know what we need to do. We're going to figure it out. But just deciding, hey, we're not giving up. We're staying in there, and we're gonna make this thing be successful. So
I just love that. Even at the 15 year, it could be year 16, and you probably want to throw in the towel because something happens. But knowing that you and your team are dedicated to pushing forward, that's so rewarding.
Yeah, I love my team. They're really phenomenal.
They are. I love everybody that I've met. And I think one of the great things is you guys found this secret sauce where you're all on the same page. And let's talk about that a little bit. Like, for a small business to start hiring, it's super scary. I had to let somebody go several times. Well, not the same person, obviously. But every time it was so hard.
Because you get gun shy when you go to hire the next one.
Yes.
We have it too, though. It happens.
Well, and then too, I liked them as a person, but maybe they just didn't fit our vision. So talk a little bit about how you've explored that, and that is your industry, and how you guide your clients through that.
It's challenging, and it's different for every client because they're all looking for different things too. But I think the main thing is trying to find the right personality fit along with the right skill set. And it also has to be in that person's right on their path. Mm-hmm. And so if you have two of those things, but not the third one, then it's not going to work. They can be the right personality, they can have the right skill set, but if they're looking to do something different in the next 5 years or 3 years or whatever time frame you want to put on it, it's not going to work out long term. And so for us, we want the long term. We want people that will stay with us and that will grow with us. And it's not for everybody. Consulting is, you're kind of loyal to a lot of different masters and each of your clients may be very different. And so some people do better with just one, and they just want one place where they work, and that's it. And then they want maybe something that's continuously steady. And so us, it's a bit spurty. Sometimes it's really hot and heavy, and sometimes it's a little bit less busy. Yeah. And so being able to be adjustable and flexible to that is a good thing to see. But for us, the people that have worked are the ones, they have the experience, they're a good personality, and we are definitely a drama-free zone. I don't like drama. I just
women in there. That's beautiful.
But and you can find that sometimes, but sometimes you'll find people that want to create drama wherever they are. There's a lot of drama, and we steer clear of that. And it just helps because we're all just very helpful, and everybody will pitch in and do whatever it takes. And that's what we need. And we need people that can kind of go with the ups and downs, and that are just willing to see what is going to come their way.
Yeah, and the big picture, and for the team, for the company, all of it. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I definitely see us growing. I think our biggest number has been 7. I would like to see us around 10, honestly. But I also want that to be 10 where the majority of people are full-time. Because right now we have some that are part-time, and some people only want to be part-time, and that's fine. And we're very flexible. So if you only want part-time, that's fine. Then we'll hire somebody once we get more work in. So that is a nuance too. But when do you hire and what time? And so right now we're kind of holding steady for a minute until we're ready for that next hire. But I see us being more in more locations in Huntsville. But also we have like the Huntsville, Decatur. Decatur's an area we're probably going to start moving into soon. But we also, the next place after that will be Birmingham. And then once we test our website, that doesn't say Rocket City, it has a different name to it. Once we test that out in Birmingham and see how that goes with just doing things remote for some clients that we can't get to, then we want to kind of start looking at other cities throughout the United States. We want to start, what we do is we can do it anywhere. Yeah. And we have clients that are based out of Huntsville, but they have employees all over the U.S., especially government contractors. And so there's no reason why we can't do what we're doing for other places and do it remotely. It's just a matter of we've got to just get into those markets and let them know that we're there. So, but that's why we're doing our marketing campaign the kind of way we are. We're trying to do it smart. And, okay, first we're going to do Huntsville, then we're going to do Birmingham, and then we're going to maybe do Chattanooga.
Don't try to dive in all at once. That is free advice right there. So we're working in different locations. Do you ever think about maybe franchising? Is that ever something that you've thought of? It has crossed my mind. Yeah. I find it fascinating. the turnkey model for somebody who wants to open a business. And it's for some people, it's not for others. I thought about it for our brand for a bit, but I decided to just not go that route. But there's so many processes and procedures and SOPs that you need to come up with. So that makes me think about how, when you are hiring new people, how do you onboard them? Do you have everything already documented? And obviously things change, and you guide people on this as well. So let's talk a little bit about processes. And
I mean, it really depends on the client. Some clients, we go there and we're face-to-face onboarding. That's what they prefer. Others, we are sending them documents ahead of time, and they're doing it online or virtually for the most part. So it really just depends. So if we're onboarding somebody here in Huntsville, we're probably going to go there and do it in person, because we really like when we're able to have that FaceTime with our employees, with our clients and their employees, and we become a part of their team. We really love that. But there are times where we've got somebody we're onboarding in another state. We can't physically be there. We can do it remotely. We can do it virtually. We have all the forms and all the templates and everything set up, and we have different ones depending on the industry that we've customized. And we have a huge bevy of all of those kinds of things. And so when we do it, it's not like we're doing it for the first time. But we do really want to customize it to the client and whatever it is that they're expecting, or whatever we think will work best for them.
Yeah. Now, what about for your team? They have to know where all of these documents are. They have to know what your processes are. Do you have a turnkey template for that too?
I won't say it's 100% turnkey, but we have a orientation
kit.
Well, we have a orientation schedule that we can, so we'll go back and look at the last person we brought on, and that was in a similar role. But I mean, it literally maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and we have different people plugging in, and we have a lot of them that Alicia has written, and they'll review them. And so we'll have time on there. Okay, this person's hiring, then, this is a person that's going to onboard them. And then they're going to meet with me, and they're going to get the company overview. And then they're going to meet with Brooke, and they're going to get how to do the timesheets. And then we're going to have them review some of the sample folders for the clients. And then we'll have them work with somebody else that is a HR business advisor to show them the ropes on a couple of the clients. So it's a little bit different for each person depending on what their role is, but it's very detailed, and it may take a couple of hours to put that schedule together. But we really feel like after the first 2 or 3 weeks, we've given them, we've shown them where everything is.
And hopefully in digestible.
Yeah, like an hour here, half an hour there. And it's always, again, we're super flexible. So nothing ever goes according to plan. So, we might be, by the time they get done with it, we might be in version 4 or 5, because we've had to just, things come up and we've had to reschedule. But we always get through the things we say we're going to do.
And to think you started it from your house, and you were with your boxes going to see your clients. And one of the things I talked in the beginning of my series episodes or whatever was, I knew it was not going to always be me. And because of my corporate background, I knew I needed to take steps in fixing that. The most amazing thing is when you have people, they have better ideas than you had, and they have other ways of doing things. I'm like, make an SOP for everything, because things change. Our accounting person was out for a family reason, and I had to go and invoice. We don't even invoice the same way anymore.
I'm kind of like you. I used to be so hands-on with everything, and now I'm removed, and I had to run a background check for a client, and it was the first time that I had done that in probably a couple of years. And I went, okay, I haven't used this new system.
I know. And it's such a great feeling to be at a point where I don't know everything that's coming in, and it's okay, but it's still this delicate balance of,
you need to know enough. Yeah.
Yes. Or when I'm at so many networking events, it's a matter of, oh, did you get that? I'm like, I think I saw that come through the email. I was copied on it, thank goodness. But yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. How you started to feel that emotion of not letting go, but letting go, leading, going into that leadership role and knowing, whew, it's still happening. When do I step in?
It happens all the time, but I think just having a team that you know and trust is good. I'd say most of them have been with me for a few years. We've developed that over time. And there are things that I have to recognize that some of my business advisors, they may handle it slightly differently than the way I would handle it. And so trying to just, okay, maybe I don't need to look at it. Maybe I just need to trust that they know what they're doing, and that as long as I've given them the template and the basics, that they may have their own different spin of how they're going to do it. So
Yeah.
I just need to trust that and know that they're fine. If they need me, then they'll ask me. And we are really good about communicating via Teams. If somebody has an issue or something comes up and they're like, hey, I want to run this by you. What do you think? Or I want to make sure I'm on the right track. And so we all do that. And
Yeah.
so I think having a staff that, for the most part, I mean, you want to hire people that are smarter than you.
Absolutely.
So that's what I do. I make sure that they're better at what they do than I am, and then we're all good.
What's your favorite part of leadership?
I don't know if I would call it.
Or business ownership?
I think for me, it's just collaboration. When I was in Toastmasters, I did a speech one time, and it was about collaborative leadership. We were supposed to do something about our style of leadership. And I did a speech, and it was looking at The Office.
Like the show, The Office?
Yeah, The Office.
Yeah.
John? Whatever. Michael.
Krasinski?
Michael.
Okay.
No, Michael.
Okay.
Michael in The Office and the Dalai Lama. And I said how they were the same leadership type. And it was uncanny, like how many similarities they had.
Really?
It was hilarious. But I realized that is my style. I'm not the, like, thou shalt do this or that. Or the, I mean, I'm more collaborative. I want people's feedback. I want input. We make sure when we're working with clients that they have a primary person and then a backup person. So if somebody needs to go on leave, then somebody else knows where everything is and that they're there and they're able to step in. And so for me, that's always, instead of everybody being in a silo,
Yeah.
it's just about collaboration and working together as a team to get everything done. So
And
I guess
that's-
that is maybe my favorite part, getting to work with people and learn from them. And I mean, some of them have the best ideas. So
I know. And it sounds like you do a lot of cross training too. I mean, I think especially as a small business, you need people who can wear the different hats, and knowing when you're hiring if they can handle the different hats. What are some great questions to ask somebody in an interview?
I always like the one about their strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody asks it, but it's just a matter of how you ask it.
Mm.
And so we'll ask them to give their 3 strengths, but we'll ask them, hey, if I were to meet your previous or current supervisor for coffee, what would they say are 3 things that define you? And they have to give examples. And then you flip it and you say, okay, none of us is perfect. So what is the one thing that you struggle with that you are still working to improve about yourself at work? And you have to say at work, or they'll say, I'm a terrible singer. I can't play tennis.
Focus.
So that is one for sure. Let's see, another good interview question. Because, I mean, that one does, it really
does a lot.
We customize everything. I mean, so depending on what the job is, we're going to look at the job description and then we're going to write the questions based on the job.
Yeah.
And so if we're interviewing somebody, it's not like we're going to just sit down and chit chat, for half an hour over lunch and then, oh, I like that person, I'm going to hire them.
Yeah.
And so we see a lot of small businesses making that mistake. They're like, but the resume looked okay and I talked to them and I liked them as a person, like what went wrong? And they really didn't drill in on, can they do the things they say they can do? Can they do the things that you need them to do? And so I think that is key. I mean, for us, we usually, especially if we're doing an executive recruitment, the first set of questions is going to just be making sure they have the skill set that they need.
Right.
The second set is going to be like making sure that they're the right fit, that they culturally will fit with the organization, that their goals are going to head where the organization needs to go.
Yeah.
And all kinds of questions about their communication style, how they like to be managed, how they prefer to work. If we have questions or kind of things that, not a red flag necessarily, but something we're like, okay, they said this, but then this job is this, just asking them point blank, okay, you say you like stability, but we see you've moved around every 2 or 3 years. Tell us about that. Is there a reason why, or have them explain that? But for the most part, you want to ask a question. It should be really open-ended, and then give them a chance to talk. And you'll be surprised at how many people will sink their own ship.
Well, and then for those of us who are so inquisitive, sometimes I'm already asking the next question before they even answered. I'm like, oh, be quiet, Melissa. So I've done that. So you said something, oh goodness, I didn't want to forget, about their leadership style, and then you went into let them answer. It'll come back to me.
But like the strengths and the weaknesses? Are we talking about the interview questions still?
It wasn't questions. It was something else. But it'll come back to me. I just find it fascinating, HR. Oh, hiring. As you work with a lot of small businesses, and those of us who started out of our house, it's time to hire somebody. I think it is the smartest decision to hire an external recruiter for those roles. There might be more that you're paying, but they're not facing all of the unemployment, all of the tax stuff. And if you have to let them go, guess what? They don't even have to let them go. Like, you could do that. I love that. So I used to work in staffing a long time ago. That's when I discovered I liked sales, actually. But let's talk about sales. How are you going about getting your business for your business?
We do a lot of networking. Most of our business comes from referrals, either current or previous clients. Obviously, I'm in BNI, I'm in core networking, member of the chamber, and members of multiple chambers over the years. It's just about getting out there and meeting people and letting them know that we're here.
Yeah.
But now we have radio ads. No, I'm sorry. It's not radio ads. It's digital ads.
Okay.
They're going to be going on podcasts. So maybe this will get attached to your podcast. You never know.
That would be so cool.
And then banner ads that go along with that. And it really literally just launched. I think it went live Wednesday or Thursday.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. I want to see how it goes.
Absolutely.
What we get from it.
If you need me to help you look at all those things, you know I love marketing. So now how are you going to try to market in Decatur?
First thing we're going to do is probably join the Decatur Chamber. We have a position out there now on our website that if the right person were to come along, we would hire them. We want somebody that's in the Decatur area already, that's familiar with them. So it'd be phenomenal if they knew HR and if they had a little bit of BD experience or sales experience or were outgoing. But really just, we need somebody out there that can service people out there.
Yeah, it's a great community. They're growing as well. Have you seen their downtown?
I haven't been there in probably a couple
I
years.
hadn't been there in years too, and I went 2 or 3 years ago, and I was amazed at all of the growth that they're having. So
That's great.
I think our whole North Alabama area is just growing because it's so beautiful. Yeah. So are you from Huntsville?
No.
Where did you come from?
I'm originally from Virginia. I grew up in Hampton, Virginia, and went to the University of Virginia. And then I went to California with the Air Force.
Oh,
And that's where I met my husband. And then he was actually stationed in New Mexico at the time. Then we got him assigned out there. And then that base closed in 1999. Just gave my age away a little bit.
That's okay. That's when my daughter was born, so I know.
Anyway, so I stayed out. I was in California 15 years total, and then we moved out here in 2009.
And what brought you to Huntsville?
Anthony's job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful? It's grown since 2009. So we've been here since the same time.
Oh, wow.
I
We
came
moved
in-
here and felt like we had taken a time machine back 20 years, especially from where we were in California. We were in Sacramento, which was still not like Los Angeles or anything, but still the crime and the traffic and the everything. And we moved here, and the kids were 2 and 4, about to turn 3 and 5. And my oldest started kindergarten that fall. And so when the youngest started pre-kindergarten is when I started my business. But yeah, it was just, I wanted to keep doing HR, and I thought, I'll just put myself out there. And I had business cards made. I joined the chamber, got my PO box, and I went to every networking thing you could imagine, just like, hey, I'm out here HR for hire kind of thing.
I love that. It's a hustle, and not everybody can do it. Not everybody understands all of the dynamics of owning a business. Like when I started, the first person I hired was a bookkeeper, but she was 1099 because that was her. She invoiced me every month. I think I was safe.
Yeah,
the IRS comes after me.
You don't do bookkeeping as a business.
Heck
So yeah.
no. I knew that was the one thing I didn't want to do. And then HR is so delicate. I think of it as a delicate role, and you have to know people. But in sales, you do sales and you do marketing and you do HR.
Anytime you own a business, you do all the things. Yeah.
I know. So is your favorite hat dealing with the HR components, or growing your business, or leading, or?
I think it's taking care of our clients. I think when we find a good client and a good HR advisor that work really well together, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
Because we get to be a part of a lot of different teams and a lot of different businesses and help them grow and be successful.
I know. Isn't that fun? I feel like marketing, we get to see that too. In so many different industries. And here in Huntsville, obviously DOD is big, but it doesn't matter. Painter, a roofer, I love it. So do you guys offer guidance or anything for clients on benefits for their employees or anything
We
like
do.
that?
We're not brokers, but we work with brokers. And sometimes if you go directly to a broker, they're going to kind of point you in the direction of they want it this or this or this because these are the things that are most profitable for them. So we can steer them towards, okay, this is what your business needs at this particular time, and maybe steer them to the broker that may be the right fit for them.
Yeah.
But just giving them all the options. And so when they start out, I mean, maybe they're not even ready to offer group health benefits, and they might not realize that there's other options. You can have an ICHRA and ICRA plan in place where you basically are giving an allowance to people for benefits, and they have their own benefits, but you're able to have this plan in place to where you can still give them that money as a benefit allowance on a pre-tax basis. And so that's a win-win for you, for your payroll taxes, and for the employee, because it stretches their money a little bit farther. So we have several really small businesses that we start out with that. Then there's a QSERA, which is a reimbursement plan where you basically set up the amount that you're going to reimburse, and then they incur their own expenses, and then they come back and then you reimburse them for it, all the way up to having group health insurance, retirement plans, all the different things. So we actually have so many brokers and people out there that want to provide the services, but we only have a couple that we really like to work with that really we feel like will take really good care of our clients.
That's just another beautiful thing about business and relationships. You can't do business without it. And you develop those core ones, and every once in a while a new one might pop in and it's a good fit. But especially now that you're 15 years old, you can cherry pick, and now they're coming to you versus you trying to find somebody for your client. That's got to be a satisfying feeling, emotion. Yes?
Oh, it is. And we had a group that came out and did a training a couple of years back, and they basically said, how many benefits does an employer have to offer for employees to feel like they're taken care of? And the magic number was 8. And it can be PTO, it can be bereavement leave, it can be health insurance, dental insurance, it can be even supplemental insurance or something where an employee on their own pays for it out of their own pocket, but just having things available so that they feel like that they're being taken care of, that they're less likely to go somewhere else if they feel like you're taking care of them and that you're trying to provide for them. So I think those are some things where we see businesses that are at that point and they're able to embrace that and they're able to afford to do that. And then it's nice to see like, oh, all of a sudden their retention increases because their people are sticking around and they're able to hire people easier. And when you have a company that wants to pay like the bare minimum and not give any benefits, and then they want to know like, why am I having a hard time hiring? Why am I having a hard time keeping people? It's like, if you just paid 50 cents more an hour than the average, you don't have to be at the very tippy top, and if you just provide one more benefit than your counterparts do, it would make it that much easier. But they don't always look at it from the employee perspective. So for us, we really want to pick the clients that they really care about their employees. I mean, that's a big thing for us.
Yeah. And I'm sure you come across some small businesses that are scaling. And so there's that fear monster of 50 cents more an hour doesn't seem a lot and on one side, but to them it could be, I don't even know if I can pay that right now. And so
then if they lose their people and have to rehire them, they're paying so much more and they just don't see it as directly.
And so absolutely they don't. And there's this constant need of, they still have, we'll say an owner of ABC company still has to make sure that revenue's coming in to cover the employees. So how do you guide them on things like that? Like, how do you show them the value of those 50 cents?
I think it's just looking at turnover rates and cost of turnover. If you have one person that leaves, it's like 2.5 times their salary or their wages is what it costs to replace them. And that's just to replace them. So that doesn't factor into the fact that you've just damaged your morale with your other employees. You've just damaged how your company looks with your customers, because this week it was Susie, and then next week it's Johnny, and then the next week it's going to be David, and so if that keeps happening, you're going to start losing customers. So you really can't afford to have your staff turnover like that. You really need to do the best you can, and every industry is different. Like, not every industry is going to have people that stay for 2 or 3 years, but you need to we can look at industry averages and say, okay, where should they be? What's a good number for them? And if they're if they have 50% turnover, if we can at least get it down to 40% or 35%, that in the long run will, make them money or prevent them from losing as much money with all the turnovers and the hiring and all the things.
Yeah, people are such a delicate thing. So in business, as a business owner, what do you do to keep yourself excited still about growing your business?
That's a great question.
Or maybe you listen to podcasts, or you read books, or you love networking, or I don't know, you get on 20 boards, so you have no life for your job.
I'm trying to get off of some of the boards now. Actually, I don't know. I just feel like I want to see how far it can go. And I also, at this point, it's been 15 years and eventually I'm going to want to retire. So I want to get it to a point where I'm able to transition it. So whether it's an internal succession plan or selling it or something, I want it 10, 15 years down the road to be able to do that. So I think just, what can I achieve without having to deal with, oh, I have a sick mom, I have young kids. Okay, now I don't have those things to worry about. What can we achieve? What can we accomplish now that we don't have anything that's standing in our way? So some of it's probably just personal. And the other part of it, I think, is just we need to business-wise get into a good place to set ourselves up. So when we are ready to have that succession with the business, that it's very easy to do.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite year that you remember of your business?
Well, 2019 was a good year.
Yeah.
That was a very profitable year and things were just going great. And we had good staff and like everything was just clicking. And then COVID came.
Yeah. That COVID got everybody.
I feel like we're kind of, between that and the family stuff, I feel like it did kind of weigh us down a bit. And so I feel like we're trying to clear the air and like come out of all of that.
Yeah. It's like everybody came out in crutches, like limping, trying to get their business back up. And
it really should have tanked us. We probably should have let more people go or cut hours back more than we did. But we decided, and we were committed to our staff, that we were going to just, keep everybody on and just focus on our marketing, focus on the things we needed to focus on, update our website and do some of the things and we had no idea how long it was going to last. We're thinking, oh, it's just a few months.
Oh yeah, I thought a month tops.
We weren't expecting that, but yeah, we're now happy that we stayed together and we kept that office and we didn't let it, a lot of businesses folded during that time. So we were able to at least keep plugging along.
Absolutely. That's so exciting. Well, if there's one piece of advice you could give to any entrepreneur out there, what would it be? It could be HR, it could just be business ownership, leadership, whatever your gut is telling you.
I would just say it's about persistence and not giving up. And no matter what comes your way, even if you don't feel like you know how to handle it, hopefully they have resources or people they can reach out to. And so for me, part of what I've loved about my business is having the connections, WEDC, Women's Business Council, all of the groups and organizations where I can reach out to a fellow business owner and be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in this situation? And somebody's been there. And I think just being able to be vulnerable too, and everybody is having struggles. And just finding that one person that you can count on that's maybe a few years ahead of where you are in your business, that has already been through the things, that can coach you and help you make the decision that you need to make, whether to keep the business going. But don't give up.
Yeah, I agree. And the relationship component is everything. You never know where you're going to get the knowledge or the support from if you're not out developing the relationships. Can't just be all behind the scenes.
Thank you for spending this moment with me. If today's conversation resonated, I invite you to follow Mac Moments on your podcast platform so you do not miss future episodes. Growth does not happen all at once. It happens moment by moment. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to our next conversation.